I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I actually wanted to do a long-term review of my Speedmaster. So this has been a grail watch for me since I ever got into the watch hobby, and that's mainly because of my kind of fascination with just space and astronomy, and this watch just seemed to kind of speak to me. I actually got this watch January 2019, so I've had it just about 3.5 years, and it was my most expensive watch I've ever bought. And to be quite honest, as soon as I bought it and kind of reality hit in, I kind of started having buyer's remorse, and kind of started hitting me that how much money I just spent on a watch. But ended up getting the watch. It came in that giant display case, and at that time, again, I was a little scared about how much money I just spent, so I ended up selling the watch box and all its accessories. I think I sold it for like $400. So yeah, just the box and the accessories, which were just like a NATO strap, like a magnifying glass, like some kind of like a giant coin. I kept the instruction manual and warranty cards, but yeah, sold it for $400. So that was a pleasant surprise to kind of help absorb some of the costs. But anywho, I've had this watch now. I thought I would just kind of share, kind of what my long-term review is. After 3.5 years, am I still happy with the watch? Would I buy it again? What I like and I don't like about it. So if we just jump into kind of the good, what I do like about the watch. One thing I do like about it is that it's as close as it can be to the original. So I kind of like the boring kind of appearance. It's very just monotone, just black with white contrast, very easy, very legible watch, and it's a very kind of recognizable watch, because it's gone unchanged for so many years. Any watch enthusiast will spot this watch from a mile away, and even some not so big into watches will kind of recognize this as well. The build quality, while it can feel a little not rugged, but then again, I was reminding myself this watch is certified to go into space, so it is made to be built as a tool watch. I did get the acrylic glass, and this is kind of where the value proposition of this watch is very kind of poor, because it's a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very primitive watch. The movement inside, first of all, it's a hand-wound movement. It's got kind of an older design to it. It's not by any means like a modernized watch with a modern movement. It's not COSC certified. I think it keeps good time. I haven't timed it in a long time, but when I timed it, my first year of ownership, I think I was getting like plus 12 seconds, if I recall correctly. So it was something very acceptable. So I think it keeps time just fine. But when you think about what you're getting out of this watch, for the money that this watch commands, you can get a whole lot more watch for your money if you look at the price. So in a way, you are kind of buying the story and the history with this watch rather than just like the raw components. So you really got to be a watch enthusiast to kind of to do that. But this was just something about this watch just spoke to me. The astronomy and the history of that watch just kind of, for me, was kind of a must-have. Now, as far as the acrylic glass, of course I wish it was sapphire, but then again, I wanted it to be original. The other problem with the sapphire is that it creates kind of like almost like a white ring around it, because it's you know, the material of sapphire is harder to work with than acrylic, so I don't think you can kind of get that dome to be as clean as you can with acrylic. So I think the acrylic looks better, but from a durability standpoint, obviously sapphire would be way more scratch resistant. I mean, this does scratch pretty easily. I haven't scratched it too much, but you can kind of see some. This is a very, I don't want to call this a safe queen, but it's also not a daily wear watch either for me. You know, I wear this watch really just for, like, you know, special occasions, if I'm just going out to dinner, or, you know, it's just kind of like a, you can call it a dress watch for me. So it's not one that I'm just going to wear around daily, and otherwise it would not look anywhere as clean as it does. But it, nevertheless, as careful as I am with it, I'm going to try to see if I can get some of the scuffs out. As careful as I am with it, you can kind of see it's still, you know, picked up its fair share of scuffs. So this acrylic is definitely a scratch magnet. As far as the hand wind, you know, I like it. It just kind of makes the watch more kind of old school for me, which I like. I mean, all my watches are automatic, so it's nice to have kind of this manual wind. So I honestly don't mind that. If this was a daily wear watch for me, I can kind of see maybe some folks not liking having to do this every single morning, or maybe on the contrary, maybe some do like it every morning. But given that I wear this watch, you know, a few times a month, you know, if that, it doesn't bother me just to give it a good wind. The bracelets right here, you know, this watch I think is a strap monster. It just goes so well with, you know, NATO's, leather, canvas. This is kind of like a, I don't know what color, it's kind of like it's almost like a plastic type feel to it, but in the summertime I'll put it on like these kind of brighter colors just to kind of, you know, brighten the watch up for the summer. But the bracelet, I don't wear too often. I always have this watch and something else, but, you know, bracelet's actually, I think, pretty nice. I mean, it's a nice bracelet. Is it, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 watch nice? No, but, you know, I think it's still nice. I have no problem with it. The only thing I wish is it had more quick like adjustments, you know. Otherwise, I think this bracelet is very, you know, soft. It doesn't jingle. It's got screws, so, you know, it's got a nice clasp. So, you know, I don't think there's much to hate about the bracelet. And maybe I'm in the minority here, but first of all, the very new Speedmaster, they've, I think, completely kind of, I think, ruined what the Speedy was and stood for, kind of an old school simple watch. So the new Speedmaster is now kind of modernized with a modern movement. You know, it's COSC certified. It's got the dual escapement. It's for the most part a modern watch now, which I guess in a way is good or bad. But, you know, Omega makes a zillion watches. They have plenty of these modern watches. This was like their one kind of, you know, old school kind of OG watch. So I'm not sure why they couldn't just have left it alone. And, you know, they've got their Seamasters, their Speedmasters, their, you know, all variations of it. They've even got, I don't know. I just don't understand why they couldn't have left the Speedmaster alone. But it is what it is. I'm actually kind of happy that I got this last generation before they kind of modernized it. This watch, I guess, you know, I am glad I got it. I haven't sold it. I almost traded it for another grail of mine, which is the Grand Seiko SBGA 211, the Snowflake. I came very close to trading it because this watch actually has gone up in value. It's actually increased about $1,000. I could probably sell it for $1,000 profit now if I wanted to. So that's the nice thing about watches. You can, you know, wear it for 3 years and still make $1,000 on it. So I almost came very close to making that trade, but it just didn't work out. So yeah, that's kind of my long-term review. Overall, am I happy with it? Yes. I think it's still a very kind of unique watch, although a famous, you know, pretty common watch. It still kind of carries that uniqueness. I mean, that's what I appreciate about it, because if I look at, you know, some of my other kind of, you know, what I consider high-end watches for me, like the Pelagos and the Marine Master, these are very modern watches with modern components, and they're great watches. And these are like your, you know, I love these watches. They're very, I mean, these watches I think will run toe to toe with any watch out there for a fraction of the price. That's kind of what I appreciate about like Seiko and like Tudor. You get a lot of value for your money. I mean, these watches will run circles around this watch, and yet this one still costs more than these two. So, you know, watches are kind of an interesting thing, and watch people are kind of strange in that sense as well. But it's still a staple of my collection. It's not going anywhere. This is going to be a watch that I want to pass down to one of my sons one day. And, you know, 3.5 years down, I'm still happy with it. I actually had two at one point. When I first got it, I actually bought the an older version, like the version before this, just because it came up through a trade, and I had two for a while. Then I eventually sold the other one. Actually, I will mention this. So a funny thing happened with this watch. So this watch, you know, like I said, I bought it brand new, but through like an individual seller, like on Watch You Seek. He's a very big seller on there. He sells a lot of watches. So this watch came with a warranty card. Everything was stamped. I think it's still a 5-year warranty. So the watch, by all accounts, was brand new. I mean, I inspected it with a microscope. There wasn't any kind of inkling of wear. But what happened was, it was interesting. So I first got it. I opened it up, and you know, obviously I want to test all the functions. So I wound it. You know, I started kind of playing with the chronometer and or chronograph. And then as I was kind of playing with it, just kind of testing, make sure it works, the button fell off. Like, just whoop, fell off. I'm like, what the heck, you know? So, naturally, I was a little, you know, scared and kind of confused. What just happened here? You know, why is my brand new watch falling apart? You know, technically it's under warranty still, so I wasn't, like, too terrified. But, you know, then, I ended up doing one of the bravest things, and I opened it up, you know, took the movement out, and basically the button, like there's like a screw that holds in the back, it just became undone. Not sure how, but so I basically took the screw, I applied a tiny bit of Loctite to it and screwed it back in, and I think I double checked the other one. The other one was on there like good. There was no like play at all. So just that one that fell off. So I thought it was a strange thing. So that was like the very first experience I had with it. So not a good one, but hasn't happened since. If you are on the fence, I would definitely get it. And I know there's a lot to choose from, but me personally, I just really like the original one. You know, acrylic, a solid case back. I just kind of want this to be as close as possible to to the one that went to space. I figured if I want all the fancier materials like sapphire and all that kind of stuff, well, that's why you never just buy just one watch. So I got these to kind of satisfy the sapphire and the fancy movements and the timekeeping, etc. So alright, that's it. Thanks for listening, and if there's any questions I can answer, definitely let me know. But, very happy with my Speedmaster. Talk to you later. Bye.